Hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Relationships aren't a checklist. They're messy, complicated, and human. But some people treat them like a cost-benefit analysis, weighing partners to decide who's worth keeping. Today on rSpace, nothing gets harder than realizing you're on the cons side of their spreadsheet. Found my fiancé's cheating through her laptop. I broke up and moved on. Now she's chasing me for stability. I, 31 male, have been engaged to Lauren, 31 female, for a little over a year. Known each other for 5. We shared a lot of the same values. Both of us were family-oriented and grounded. Both not into the whole party every weekend thing. Her parents adored her, and she was really close to her sister and cousins. I didn't have a huge family. It's just my mom and my younger brother. But we're tight. Lauren and I bonded over that. We've been living together for 4 years, so marriage was the next obvious step. I proposed to her last year. After years of working long hours, saving, and trying to get things stable, I finally felt like I could see my future clearly. Her family was thrilled. My mom cried when she heard. We started planning the wedding earlier this year. Picked a date for the following spring. We had some bumps? Sure, but I thought it was normal wedding stress. As the date approached, I saw her getting anxious and annoyed at me for even minor inconveniences. Last week, I got to know the real reason for her stress. Her personal laptop crashed. Okay, before that, about myself. I'm the go-to tech guy in our circle. I work in computer hardware, so everyone brings me their busted devices. I fix phones, build PCs, and troubleshoot routers. That's my thing. When her laptop stopped booting, I offered to take a look. She brushed it off, said she'd just take it to a service center. That was weird. She never turns down help, especially not for stuff like this. So when she said, "No, it's fine, I'll take it somewhere," something in her tone felt off. I didn't push it though. She was running late for work, kissed me goodbye, left the laptop on the counter and told me, "Don't worry about it." I tried to shake it off. Maybe she didn't want to trouble me, but curiosity stuck in the back of my head all morning. I was working from home, and around noon, I finished my tasks early and decided to take a look. I wasn't trying to snoop. I just wanted to help. I figured maybe she didn't want to bother me because I'd been swamped at work. When I booted it up, it took a few minutes to load. I ran some diagnostics, repaired the boot sector, and finally got it to start. Easy fix. OS file was corrupted. I was about to shut it down when I noticed something odd in the root directory. There was a folder named systemlog_temp2, but the file icon wasn't right. It looked like it had been manually created, not a system-generated one. My instinct kicked in. I opened it. Inside that folder was another folder, then another and another, a chain of them buried deep inside the system. Every folder had a name, like it was trying too hard to look technical. Cache 2023, data node, temp backup. I kept digging, thinking maybe she had a backup system set up. Then at the very end, inside the last folder, there were several files, PDFs, JPEGs, and a couple of Word documents. The first one I opened was titled Future Planning. Inside was a list, literally a list. 2 columns, something like a job evaluation sheet. The title read, Pros and Cons, Marrying Alex, Me. Pros, stable, reliable, family-oriented, supportive, good with kids. Cons, predictable, emotionally dull, lacks spontaneity, too focused on routine, and not ambitious enough. I sat there staring at the screen, reading those words over and over. Emotionally dull, predictable. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Then, below it, there was another section. Pros and Cons. Tom. Pros. Fun, spontaneous, exciting, passionate, humorous. Cons. Temper issues, manageable, financially unstable currently, and not great long-term potential. My stomach dropped. She's mentioned a Tom before. He's a guy from her gym. I never thought much about it. She'd casually drop his name when telling stories. Tom's been training for a marathon. It was always surface level, never flirty. I trusted her. I never once thought she'd cross that line. I opened another document. I should have stopped. Should have just walked away, but I needed to know how deep it went. I searched her email client. She had it set to offline, which meant it wasn't syncing automatically. I reconnected it, and when I did, hundreds of emails downloaded. She wasn't using her main Gmail. She had a secondary one. She'd been communicating with him through there. The emails weren't overly romantic, at least not all of them. They were clever, phrased like professional notes, but anyone reading them could see the undertone. Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about it. He's becoming suspicious. I'll handle it soon. I'll tell them during my visit home next month. The them part hit me. I kept reading. There was one email that revealed the extent of her betrayal. I'll tell my parents that things with Alex aren't working. I'll say it's been emotionally draining, that he's too controlling, that I'm unhappy. They'll understand. Once I have a place lined up, I'll move my things quietly. I can't deal with the confrontation. That was it. The exit plan. She was planning to blindside me, to paint me as the bad guy is emotionally abusive while she slipped away into someone else's arms. I kept scrolling. There was a folder named Memories. It was password protected. I bypassed it easily. She used her pet's name as her go-to password. Inside were pictures of her and a fair partner, some selfies at the gym, a few at what looked like a park. One of them is on a couch. She's in his hoodie, leaning against his chest and grinning like a teenager. Another of them at a restaurant, immersed in each other. I sat there in silence. I figured why she didn't want me touching that laptop. My hands were shaking. I backed everything up to an external drive. Document, picture, email. Then I took screenshots, stored them in a private cloud. I sat in front of that laptop for maybe an hour, staring at the screen, feeling everything inside of me fall apart piece by piece. The woman I was about to marry, the person I thought I'd spend my life with, was planning to blindside me. Once I had backed up everything, I loosened one of the RAM chips from her laptop's motherboard, just enough to make it crash again. When she'd try to power it up, it'd fail. I wanted her to believe it was still broken. I didn't want her to have any idea I'd seen what she'd been hiding. That night, when she came home, I pretended like nothing happened. We ate dinner, she talked about her sister's bridal shower ideas, and I sat there pretending to listen. I didn't confront her yet. I wanted to. My body was screaming to, but I knew better. She's good at flipping narratives. She's charming, knows how to play the victim when cornered. If I confronted her now, she'd twist it, cry, say I was invading her privacy, maybe even go ahead with the abuse story to her parents to save face. No, I wasn't giving her that. The next day, I contacted my landlord and gave notice of 1 week, told him I'd be ending the lease early, said there'd been a change in personal circumstances. He was understanding. She was planning to visit her parents in the next town after a week. Until then, I played dumb but distant. To make it better for me, I picked a fight with her over something silly and didn't apologize. She's the kind of person who won't talk until I said sorry. It worked for me this time. Meanwhile, I found a small one-bedroom across town. I signed the lease within a few days. At work, I quietly started rerouting my mail, changed my billing addresses, and updated my emergency contacts. Yesterday, finally, the day came for which I had been waiting for days. She was supposed to leave for her parents after work, spend the weekend, and come back on Monday morning. I had already taken off from work that day. I woke up before sunrise. Had barely slept that night. My mind was running like a machine to execute the plan. I went for a run to avoid her in the morning. When I was back, her suitcase was already by the door. Was just about to leave. Told me she would be spending the weekend with her parents. I nodded because we were still in the fighting mode. There was no goodbyes. After she left, I immediately loaded a small bag in my car with all the evidence and left for her parents' place. The plan was simple. Get there before her. Show them the truth. Let them see for themselves what kind of story she was about to sell. The drive felt long. I had music on, but I wasn't really listening. Her coldness whenever I'd bring up the wedding plans lately. Everything made sense now, and it hurt worse knowing she'd already exited our relationship in her mind. Her parents are retired. They run a small shop across their house. When I reached, they were still at their house. Her father answered the door, looked surprised but happy to see me, greeted me with a big smile and a hug. "What a surprise! What's up? All good?" I nodded. He sensed the tension in my face, sat me down and called his wife. She came out of the kitchen and greeted me warmly. "Hey, what brings you here?" She stopped mid-sentence when she saw my face and asked, "What's wrong?" I didn't say much at first, just pulled out the external drive, plugged it into my laptop, and opened the folder. I showed them everything. The pros and cons list, the emails, the pictures, the message drafts where she wrote how she'd call me emotionally abusive to gain their sympathy. For the first few minutes, they didn't even speak. They just stared at the screen. Her mom covered her mouth with her hand, tears welling up. Her dad leaned back on the couch with wide eyes. There was just silence. Her mom spoke first in a trembling voice. "I don't know what to say." Her dad asked, "Are you absolutely sure this is all hers?" I calmly replied, "Everything came from her laptop. She's been planning this for weeks and months." Her mother sobbed and whispered, "I thought we raised her better than this. How could she?" She broke down completely. Her dad just sat there staring at the floor. I informed them that she was planning to come here today and was going to tell you that I was emotionally abusive. That she felt trapped. And then, once she got your sympathy, she'd introduce affair partner as the person who helped her heal. Her mom's face changed from sadness to anger. That's disgusting. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve this. None of this. I nodded, trying to hold myself together. I wasn't there to make them feel bad, but watching them crumble like that hit harder than I expected. They were genuinely good people. They'd treated me like family from day one. I hated that their daughter was about to break their trust like this. Her dad stood up and walked to the window and was silent for most of the time. I figured he was having a hard time processing it. He finally let out, I'm ashamed. My son. Ashamed that my daughter could even think of doing this to you. You've been nothing but good to her. To all of us. Her mom looked at me through tears. You were like the son we never had. When she introduced you, we felt we have found a son. I mean that. Please don't disappear from our lives because of her mistakes. Promise me you won't. That got me. I had to look away. I told them my intentions was not to poison them, but to let them know the truth before she manipulates them. Before leaving, I requested they listen to her first. Let her say what she's planning to say. I just wanted to know how far she's willing to go with her lies. After that, you can decide what to show her. They nodded. I spent a few more minutes there. It was mostly quiet. Her mom asked if I'd eaten. I said no. She made coffee and kept saying she couldn't believe it. At one point, she even asked, Was she unhappy? Did you two fight often? I replied, Not really. We had the usual disagreements, but nothing serious. At least, not until recently. She started pulling away. I thought it was just pre-wedding stress. Her mom shook her head. No stress justifies this. When I got up to leave, her dad shook my hand firmly. Thank you for coming to us, son. You did the right thing. I don't know how this will go down, but I promise you, we'll handle it. As I walked out of the house, I heard her mom whisper to her husband, What did he do wrong? I left while Lauren was still at work. By the time she reached there, I was already back in our city, packing the rest of my stuff. According to what her mom told me later, her dad didn't even come to greet her. He couldn't pretend. Lauren apparently noticed right away that something was off and asked, Where's Dad? And her mom just said, He's busy. They sat down in the living room. Her mom said she looked nervous, kept fidgeting with her hands. Then she started her speech. Told her mom she'd been feeling emotionally drained, that I'd been distant and cold, that she felt like I didn't understand her anymore, and she's questioning her decision to marry me. She said she'd been trying to hold it together, but couldn't pretend any longer. Her mom listened quietly, barely holding her composure, but when Lauren called me emotionally abusive, she lost it and said, So, Alex is emotionally abusive, and Tom is a gentleman, right? She froze on hearing the affair partner's name. Her mom shot again, You heard me. So when are you planning to introduce Tom to us? Initially, she tried to play dumb. Her mom snapped at her. You think everyone's stupid and no one's ever going to find your dirty little secret? Lauren still tried to lie, but her mom cut her off. Don't you dare lie to me. We've seen the evidence, every disgusting detail. Her mom pulled out the printed photos I'd given them earlier, just a few of the tamer ones, and threw them on her. She looked at them and went pale. Until then, she was confused about how her parents found out about the affair, but after seeing the pictures, she figured it out. She defended herself, saying I was framing her, and all the evidence was morphed, and that I had hacked into her system. Blurted out whatever she could at that moment. Her mom threw the email print where she was planning to paint me as an abuser. After that, she had nothing to say. Her dad came out and berated her. We raised you better than this. She started crying and gave her a shot at defending herself. It's not what it looks like. Tom's just a friend. He was helping me cope. He snapped at her and shut her down. Her mom told me later that it was the first time she'd ever seen him raise his voice at his daughter. She kept insisting that I was framing her, that I was controlling, that she had proof that I'd been emotionally cold. Her father just shook his head. You're not the victim here. You destroyed a good man's trust. You lied to all of us. The confrontation went on for an hour. Her mother said at one point, Lauren completely broke down and started begging them to believe her, but they knew the truth. While all that was happening, I was back home, packing the last of my things. I left my set of keys on the counter, along with the updated lease paperwork with just her name on it. Full responsibility for the rent. She'd have to deal with it now. I loaded my car and drove off. She left her parents' place the same evening because her plan failed. She tried calling me, but I had blocked her. Then she emailed. The first one was pure rage. You had no right to show my parents anything. You've destroyed my relationship with them. Do you have any idea what you've done? And, you could have just talked to me. You didn't have to humiliate me like that. The rage suddenly turned into guilt and she said, I was confused. I didn't respond to any of them. After a few hours, the email stopped. I guess she was driving back home. A few hours later, the email started again. I figured it was the reaction to the empty apartment and updated lease. The tone was desperate now. I came home and saw the lease. What's going on? Can we at least talk once? Everything's a huge misunderstanding. I read them all at once, then marked the thread as spam. I wasn't doing the dance again. I informed my mom and brother of everything. They were shocked but supportive. They are happy that I dodged a bullet. I'm also looking at it positively. Hope I get over it soon. Update 1. It's been a little over 4 months since my last post. My life went back on track. Work kept me busy. I threw myself into projects, late night calls, and anything that could keep my mind from wandering into the past. I wasn't angry anymore. I deleted every trace of her from my life. Once in a while, she'd cross my mind. Not in a painful way, just as a fact. Then yesterday, out of nowhere, she walked into my office. I got a call from the front desk that someone had come asking for me. I wasn't expecting anyone. I stepped out, and there she was. She had a bright smile on seeing me. I asked, "Why are you here?" With pleading eyes, she requested to talk just for a few minutes. I took her to the cafe across the street. Can't trust her with drama at the office premises. She began by saying, "I'm not here to create drama. Just need to clear out some things which had been eating me alive." I let her talk. Apparently, after our breakup, she kept seeing a fair partner. He even moved in with her to our apartment. She looked at me for a reaction. I gave none. She went on, "I thought it would make me feel better, like it would justify everything I'd done. It didn't. I realized I was just trying to convince myself that I made the right choice." She laughed nervously. "You know what's funny? The moment we didn't have to sneak around anymore, it stopped being exciting. It was just ordinary. He started getting moody and demanded space. We picked fights over small things, which left me thinking, this is what I threw everything away for?" She said she was confused and the wedding preparation made her panic. The affair was her escape from commitment. I stayed silent. She kept going. "That weekend, I went to see my parents. I wasn't planning to tell them what you think. I mean, I had planned that before, yeah, but I didn't mean half of it. I just wanted to figure out what I really wanted, but you went there before me and blew everything up." I coldly responded, "You mean I stopped you before you could play the victim?" She nodded. "I get it. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. It's just, everything collapsed after that day. My parents barely talk to me. I'm sidelined in the family gatherings. Everyone's polite, but I can feel the whispers. My cousin's engagement dinner got awkward because you weren't there. People asked about you and about our wedding. Though we didn't say anything, everyone knew something was wrong." Her mom had informed her aunt about her cheating, and now she's no longer her aunt's favorite niece and gets lectured about loyalty. A fair partner tried to stick around at first, but when things got complicated, he bailed. Said he wasn't ready for family drama. She chuckled that maybe she deserved this. I didn't respond. She blabbered, "I know you probably hate me, but I didn't come here to ask for your sympathy. I just needed to clear the air that I didn't want to break up. I wanted to discuss my thoughts and feelings with my parents and seek clarity. I keep thinking about how it all spiraled, how I could have just told you I was scared instead of all that, but I took the coward's way out." After a few seconds, she said, "Do you ever think we could have fixed it if I hadn't done what I did?" I replied, "We'll never know." She said she was in therapy trying to understand herself. "My therapist says I was chasing novelty, that I confused comfort for boredom. She's right. You were good to me. I just didn't know how to appreciate that. I guess it's too late. Now I just want peace and stability." She expected a reply, but I remained silent. Then her final words were, "Can you ever forgive me? I'm dying of guilt." I nodded that I forgave her long ago and have now moved on. Whatever you say now doesn't matter to me anymore. She smiled faintly. "You always were calm, even when you should have been angry." She hesitated, then said quietly, "Would you ever consider giving us another chance? Not now, maybe someday?" I stood up. "No, that's beyond question, and now you should leave." She stood too, tried to hug me, but I had already started walking away. I waved at her outside the cafe and walked back to my office. Didn't even turn back to look at her. I have left that chapter of my life far behind, and there's no way I would look back at it. Thanks for reading this. I appreciate all the comments and DMs. She has the nerve to show up months later smiling, talking about how she was confused. No, confused is forgetting where you parked, not writing a pros and cons list comparing your fiancé to the guy who can't pay rent on time. You didn't panic during wedding planning. Lauren, you panicked when your fun guy bailed the moment life got real. Have you ever discovered someone secretly tallying you up against someone else? Share your stories with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.